There's a man with a funnel plan as clever as can be. He ditched his law degree for plugins that go zing. Now WooCommerce dances every time he pulls a string. Hey, evil genius! He's got a plugin.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Good morning. It is Spence. I'm going to wind this down. There he goes away, and that's the applause. I am back after a little dropping my youngest son off to camp sabbatical. It's good to be back for office hours. And today we are going to cover the brave new world of WordPress without plugins, because indeed that is what's happening. I would love it if you guys can check in. Good morning. I can already tell my voice is off to a simply saline nasal mist type of day. Shout out to my friend Allie. We were singing Bruce Springsteen songs late into the evening last night with a little bourbon and pickleball. So my voice is out. Hopefully Allie is out there having a good time. And for the rest of you guys, today what we're going to cover is quite literally a review of the minute launch system. Good morning, John. Hola. We're going to cover the minute launch system as it is, but also the remarkable state of AI technology and how WordPress, it has changed so much, because I can honestly say without any hesitation whatsoever that we are running all of the things without any plugins, including now, I am no longer running most of my individual client things or my own stuff without WooCommerce, which is a remarkable thing for me to be saying. In other words, we've now got minute launch Stripe Gateway is capable of essentially replacing WooCommerce. You know what just happened? This StreamYard interface is so wacky. I lost where there it is. I've lost where the comments are. Okay. Okay, so let's dive in. I've got a slideshow presented today. I have to switch the screens, unfortunately, for better or worse. Normally, I put these into the same box. Oh, actually, no, I have to switch screens. But I'm going to share it in a way that I can have the flexibility I had last week. It worked out pretty well. So if you can ignore, please, the things at the top of the screen, that would be awesome. Which is to say, I'll get rid of some of these bookmarks. Hide bookmarks. Okay, that's not too bad. So let's dive into it. First of all, apologies about my voice and otherwise. I'm going to do a combination of actual live screen sharing as well as the slides, because I think this has been working out pretty well. And if you guys agree, let me know. First of all, the old way of doing everything in WordPress, I don't have to spend too much time on this, but every single feature that you wanted to do required another plugin, right? I mean, quite literally, let's see if we do it that way. Quite literally, we needed to have a theme. Then you needed theme extensions. Then you probably, even with Gutenberg, needed a page builder or extra blocks. Then you needed for your e-commerce transactional engine, for your forms, for your CRM, for your sliders, for your SEO, for your socials. There are something in the order of 75 to 80,000 plus plugins in the WordPress ecosystem. I very rarely saw a site that had less than 30 plus plugins. Usually they were closer to 100 plus plugins. Then they had a stack of SaaS features on top of it. External CRM, external SEO stuff, external forms, external, good morning, Lloyd, external link shorteners, external image creation tools. I mean, by the time you're done with it, I just, let me get real for a second. I lived in a house that you guys know about that was on a park here in the city that I'm in, Chicagoland. And I lived there for 10 years. It was a great house. I had a great deal. My friends would come by, family, and they kind of look at me cross-eyed because the house was a piece of shit. I mean, it was a great house, but it was just worn down. It was a rental. It was like 10 years the landlord didn't fix stuff up. When I moved, because the landlord decided to do something or sell, I moved into a new house and I realized, oh my God, what a piece of shit I was living in. This new house is amazing. Well, that's the feeling I have now with the mature minute launch system. When I use this system, when you guys use this system, I'm like, how the hell did we survive 18 years of WordPress in the last 3 to 5 years, especially with 80,000 plugins and all the themes and all the crazy stuff? What has happened as a benefit of this AI revolution and the minute launch system is that it has revealed how bad things were, but how awesome they can be and are. All of that bloat created conflicts, updates, like endless updates, bills. What do I mean? 122 plugins written by 65 to 70 different people cannot end well. When you go to Ikea, I noticed too, what's weird is my stupid StreamYard reversed my camera. I noticed that the camera is backwards now. But when you go to Ikea, you don't have any conflicts. Everything is built to work with everything else from Ikea. When you buy furniture from different stores, that thing that you bought to go at the end of your queen bed doesn't fit. Updates. When there's something that changes in the WordPress core and you have 100 people plus all writing the code, one of them can put some JavaScript in place that breaks all of them. And everybody else suffers. You and the people who have to fix that, because somebody has to figure out it's that person's problem. They're the one causing it, not the problem in minute launch. Bills, pro licenses and SaaS fees add up. I mean, in the legacy launch kit bundle, we still have about 120 plus plugins. That has a retail value of like $6,500 a year. I'm like, because minute launch is 197 for the hosted with support and all the high-end features, 97 self-hosted. That's $1,200 a year. It includes not only the legacy, whatever you may still use, but it includes the ability with Fernando and otherwise to do things that would be thousands upon thousands of dollars more, even above the cost of plugins. So instead of the continual WordPress way of doing things in the old, I'm saying the shift is we're just building the functionality. I've built the functionality of the key components you need to run your business for membership marketing automation, e-commerce, transactional engine, and more into the minute launch core set of stuff, including, by the way, the free minute launch plugin manager, remarkable. And then from there, when you need the extra functionality, the very same tools are capable of building the extra functionality inside themselves. It is literally like Star Trek food replicator, where you say, replicator, I'd like a cheeseburger with fries, American cheese, hold the onions. Instead of going to the Whole Foods and buying pots and pans and kitchen utensils and the raw hamburger meat and baking the bread and blah, 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 you just can say, Fernando, make this thing. Take what we've got, use that, but if you need more, build this. The few minute launch tools that we do are, this is remarkable to me. I've had my colleagues like Jack Arturo and I were talking, and I showed him the minute launch system and all of the features. And he's like, what is that, like 1.5 million lines of code? I'm like, well, most of them are between 13,000 and 33,000 lines of code. And they're single files and they load virtually into memory. And he's like, what? And I go, yeah, because if you think about it, where my aha moment, the hot tub moment, was when I decided, why is it that some things work efficiently and others don't? Why did Ikea work efficiently? It's because Ikea as a store, as a concept, as a framework, means they can add new furniture in instantly. And it's just another SKU, another flat pack thing. A little flat pack, you know, it's flat. You go to buy the furniture, it's this high, this wide, this deep, and you put it in the trunk of your car, a sedan. You don't have to worry about getting a moving van and a bunch of dudes to bring it over. Well, same idea. Why do we need these gargantuan written by humans for humans plugins with 57,000 lines of code and 47 files and everything else when the framework of WordPress and the other minute launch plugins, virtual, provide the store of Ikea into which a new piece of furniture can be launched? Why? Why? Bad Santa. So minute launch, unlike traditional WordPress with plugins, same job, fraction of the weight. 68 kilobit files. Kilobit. Kids, that's 1,000 bytes versus megabyte, which is million bytes, or worse, gigabytes. I don't think 1,303 lines is typical. I have some that are bigger and some are 13,000. But the point is, most of these files are 100 kilobits. I'll show you in a second. Typical plugin, 2.5 megabytes, zip file, has to be dropped in, pulled in, unpacked, the whole kit and caboodle. Updating the minute launch system of anything or adding it is click, done. One button manages all of them. Anybody who's used WordPress knows. Good luck updating 100 plugins in WordPress, because the minute launch kit, MCP, does it faster than anything I've ever seen. You go click, boop, click, boop. But that's because I built a special delivery mechanism. The normal mechanism of updating WordPress plugins, good effing luck. You can have that whole thing and you press the update button and you just watch it spin endlessly. Oh, can't update this because Matt Mullenweg, somebody decided that this is a WooCommerce plugin, has all these dependencies. So what do you have to do? You have to disable 14 plugins just to be allowed to enable or update another plugin. Like, somebody thought that was a good idea. So about 40 times later. This one I'm really proud of. 99.9% of you or your clients have a need for a page online that takes in information and adds it to a CRM, right? I mean, let's just be honest. Could be a contact form. Hey, you want to reach out? Could be an intake form for get this lead magnet. Could be buy this thing. I'll need your first name, your last name, your email, maybe a bunch of other stuff. Wouldn't it be cool, because it is, that the nature of the minute launch system is you just add the minute launch plugin manager for free into any site for free. And not only do you get instant connection with Fernando in the lab to ask Fernando anything, but the free minute launch canvas block connects to the free FluentCRM plugin, which, by the way, is probably the one plugin that is universally going to stay, even if there is no other plugins. Because even though I'm able to take on, and I think happily so, WooCommerce as a replacement via the minute launch Stripe gateway, I'm not going to take on a CRM. I could build one. I don't want to build one. So wouldn't it be cool, and it is, that you can have Fernando make a beautiful page and he understands out of the box, because the software minute launch plugin manager for free has the necessary bridge that page he makes can have custom forms without using a form builder. And it instantly takes in the person and instantly sends to you or your team notification that a form or this data has been added to the CRM. But without the bloat of the Fluent Forms or other forms programs, without the need to build a form and style it and stick it in place. Oh my God, it hurts my head when I start to think about all the steps to build a page with a form in it and how it can go badly. Now you just go, hey, free plugin manager. Hey, free minute launch canvas block. Hey, free Fernando chat. This is what I'm trying to accomplish. Do it. Spits out a beautiful page. It's got a form, multi-step, and it automatically will send the data from that to you or your team members to know that they're in the CRM. Or it can trigger another thing, which I'll talk about in a second. I've added pro features to the minute launch plugin manager that complement the free Fluent CRM. So, not to take away from your desire to use the pro, because you get the pro Fluent CRM if you want inside the minute launch kit MCP, but Why even add that? Maybe you don't need that for a basic site. With the way you can do it with the free plugin manager, I'll show you. You literally can just have one less plugin. Even the pro plugin for the CRM isn't necessary for all cases. So I'll show you in a second. You could use the coach, who is designed as your concierge at the desk. You could use the lab, who's kind of like the chef in the kitchen doing the heavy lifting, keeping track of what he's building and making it awesome. You could even use Fernando chat in the plugin manager, who's there. He's a little slower because he's connected permanently to the free open router LLMs, but he's really practical. You just say, this is what I need, or here's an example from a skill. Builds it. Gorgeous. Now, I'm going to show you today, because it's been such a long time, I have built some crazy, incredible new features into Minilaunch Canvas Block that lets you visually click and change the text, click and change images, click and change links, click and change stuff without messing with the layout. Why? Because we already know that Block is amazing for doing, any type of full page or otherwise layout. Wouldn't it be awesome if the human part of it gave you a little bit more control? So Fernando does it, and I just wish Fernando changed one word or this, or maybe swap the background. No problem. You'll see. Checkout. I have a live client now, including many of my own businesses, but I have a live client now we've got about 40 products on Minilaunch Stripe Gateway, replacing WooCommerce, replacing Affiliate WP, replacing Easy Ship or Shippo, replacing all of the extra tchotchkes that you would need in order to make a attractive product page, to use FluentCRM tags, to give somebody access to other components, to one click be able to set up your client with Stripe Gateway, including the webhooks. Holy shit. Including the webhooks. Even with WooCommerce Stripe Gateway, when you click on it, you need to get into the client's account to set up that silly webhook, which you need in order for Stripe to talk back to you. We've overcome that. Lightweight, content gating, conditional deals, coupons, all of that stuff covered. So whether it be for social, as I'll show you, cranking out for yourself or your customers content, imagery, posts, consumables like coursework, UGC videos. We can use the tools Minilaunch Persona to manage the spokespeople and these lip sync videos. We've got the image editor, the workhorse that does today's slides, any kind of things you want to create, from diagrams to otherwise, for use inside of your content. We've got Minilaunch Learn, which I was asked by one of my longtime customers, Lalo and Elsa. Minilaunch Learn is a very powerful tool, but it has a lot of features in it that I'm going to be using and continue to use now for providing a concierge service. I'm pretty sure I'm going to pull out of it the LMS, too many acronyms, so that Minilaunch Learn will probably become the streamlined down version that replaces LearnDash. Because since I've already crossed the bridge of getting WooCommerce, let's say alternatively out of the way, and Affiliate WP out of the way, and Forms out of the way, I might as well make a version of that that's available for you guys in the kit. I'm not going to give you the full existing Minilaunch Learn because there's too many secret sauce items in there that I want to keep to myself as part of a relationship maybe with you, as a VIP with you, but as an LMS, incredible. Okay. When I have conversations with customers or prospects, and John and I are working with one of these situations now, you need to be now in a position of being, remember, we've said this many times, you have two things you can deliver in this crazy world of AI. You can deliver a human relationship that you are the concierge asking what the things are that the customer thinks they need or want, or what they do in their business. And the second thing is the expediency with which you can deliver it. The Minute Launch Laboratory allows you, without experience, even though you probably want a little help initially from me, to build custom functionality on request. So instead of going down to the Sunday flea market because you needed one wrench and having to buy that 4,000 piece metric ASE wrench set, you can just say, Fernando, I need one wrench. Build that right here. You don't need to go in the plugin directory anymore. It's done. It's over. Because everything that can be built inside of Minute Launch is specific to you and can be repurposed inside of that one site, or used in other sites, or used as part of your training or skills. In other words, once you've gotten your Fernando to build something, you can use it again and again and again, turn it even into a service or a custom product that you offer to other people. But you don't have to use a tool that has 5,000 features in order to be commercially viable to get the one feature you need. You can just have Fernando make the one feature. And I wouldn't say that this is 100% here yet, but clients, I have at least 3 clients doing this, can even build their own without breaking the site. So I mentioned my pal Steve Grant, who runs Video Instanter. Steve is going through a couple $1,000 of tokens, even discounted, probably 250 turns of updates, working with Fernando, building exactly the business he wants with the thing that we started for him with the deposition scheduler. It's a custom way he runs his business. He has about 14 employees. Video Instanter is a video deposition company. He is able to have a conversation any day, time, day or night. I see it on his logs with Fernando, and keep building things the way he wants. Now compare that to vibe coding. The problem with vibe coding is there's a billion tools out there. John Lawler, my pal here, John sends me every day, oh, Spence, here's another new business doing this. I'm like, but they're all working in a vacuum of space. They have their thing that's set up their way. That's not Ikea. Everything you do here, even at the 97, 197, or if you do a baby concierge or VIP, is Ikea. Guaranteed that what you build works with the whole other system, which gives you a bulletproof protection. It gives you the passed down concierge relationship that I bring to the table, whether it be hands-on, like John and I getting new clients, or whether it be building custom solutions, or whether it be just holding your hand so that you get the outcome that you need. And this is a safe environment. You can change anything, break nothing. That is a remarkable thing to say, because I've had several customers this year who I haven't heard from in a while. They go off and they do Replit, or they do Lovable, or they do whatever. And they're finding out what the corporate CEOs are finding out. That final mile between the fiber optics box at the corner and your house, that final mile of cable, that's where the real, the wheat separates from the chaff. That's the Sisyphean rolling the ball up the hill every time and starting over in the morning, because you can get something prototyped, piece of cake. When you actually try to use it in practice and the details matter, like the person's putting in their real credit card now, or I really have a live webinar, or I really am sending out something or other to my real customers. That's where those vibe coding things fall to pieces, because you have to connect it to your real world. And so John and I were talking about this, because that is why the Minute Launch system is really becoming what it's become. It is a system that, like Ikea, you can come to Ikea and have a great lunch, buy your own stuff, wander around, see the examples, take it home, follow the instructions, ask for help from Fernando Automated. But you're probably going to do better if you go there and you get somebody with a yellow vest on and you say, listen, I need to do my whole house. I need you to walk around with me and let's just get everything right the first time. So having me and other people like John who are in a relationship allows you or other people to transition from the world where they're at to the world of Minute Launch and this new way of doing things without having to traverse the knowledge gap, like intuitively understanding what is available inside of this whole Ikea. How would it replace my old things? What do I say to Fernando? How do I say it? Like, that final mile cannot be overcome with documentation. It can't, because the old world is so unique to every individual. Well, I've got a brown horse and a red horse pulling a wagon attached to this car that sits in the barn that Aunt Millie gave me, blah, 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 blah. And now I want a flying electric vehicle. Well, that's a different story than the last guy who came along. So if you don't have the person in the yellow vest, hello, you'll figure it out eventually, but you're going to have to put in the same amount of hours. I'm clocking in at probably 20 or 30,000 hours, not my Malcolm Gladwell's 10,000 hours. With, by the way, it feels like 5 seconds. I've loved this journey since last July, but we're in June. We're coming up on the hot tub anniversary soon, and I could not be more pleased. The ability for me to give you this safe space relies on things like I'll show you in the Minute Launch Lab. We've got the HAL 9000 button. If you don't know what that is, that's where, famously HAL 9000, I can't do that, Dave. That's the scene in the movie with 2001 Space Odyssey where the computer's going haywire and Dave and the other spacemen go into the capsule to have a conversation, not realizing the HAL 9000 can read lips, and it locks them into the escape pod and won't let him in, saying famously, very calmly, "I'm sorry, Dave, I can't do that." And I put a button in there so that you don't have that problem with your Fernando if he's working on some process. The task flow. We've got a monitor that allows him to autonomously go do stuff, but then use the notification system to go, here you go, all done. You don't have to guess like what's going on in the background, because quite frankly, some things take a little time. Version history. Every single thing that the lab builds has a version number zip file as a package, a safe, go back to that thing in addition to saving files. So you just can't get in the same kind of trouble. It can still break your site, but it can't get you into trouble, because if it follows its rules and you don't send it away from its rules, it's built to allow these pretty bold things to happen without you hurting yourself. It's like a safety scissors or something. All right. One of the key takeaways of everything, and by the way, I promised I am going to show you these things, but I'm just giving you the rundown. Ownership update treadmill is done. What do I mean by that? Well, I don't wish him well or his unwell or his customers unwell, but like, I've publicly spoken out against Automotive, Syed Balki, and the way that they do things, because they have not taken a human first approach, a golden rule approach first. They sell plugins that do naughty stuff and inject themselves into everybody's sites in ways that they shouldn't do. Like you installed Opt-in Monster. That's, by the way, a third-party SaaS server, but then it installs a whole bunch of other shit into your site and options, and suddenly you got 900 octopus tentacles just because you wanted some little helper tools with your marketing. Unfortunately, I read that they got hacked, or their plugins got hacked. And as a result of that, and I think it was with Uncanny Automator, they had to say, don't update, don't update. Because if you did, everything would go haywire. Now, I'm not saying that anything I do couldn't be hacked. I could be hacked in a second. What I'm saying is, when you have a bunch of vendors in the traditional thing, you have to rely on every one of those vendors to keep up with the necessary best practices, the security, the updates, and they are not going to do that for free. So you're locked into a permanent financial relationship that is uncertain. Multiple parties, multiple licenses, multiple SaaS locations for your data, multiple points of entry for safety and security, versus, hey, Ikea, is there a bad guy running around the store? I don't know. We've only got the one store. little easier for us to put our security guards on it because we have all of our customers and we can pinpoint who the security bad guy is right here versus asking 120 different stores, hey, do you have a bad guy running around your store right now? Replacing all of this randomness with all of your data that you own and control on a WordPress site, whether it's yours or you're borrowing it from me for a month at a time. It's 100% ownership and control of the data. It's 100% you decide because everything is in one spot. So you don't have the bloated plugin pile plus a stack of SaaS stuff that on average was costing most customers $2,500 to $3,500 a month. The software from WordPress would average, $800 to $1,200, $1,500 maybe a year, sometimes more. But then they're paying $400 a month for Hootsuite. They're paying for their CRM outside, like ActiveCampaign or HubSpot. That blows the budget right there sometimes. $300, $500, $1,500, $1,800 a month. They're paying for services like the opt-in monster or the SEO tool or the link shortener tool. So on average, most customers outside of agency cost were spending thousands of dollars a month for tools and services that were all over the place. If you ever wanted to leave the relationship with myself, Minute Launch, we just say, Spence, it's been great. Bye. And that's it. Good morning, Claude. And when you do, you keep everything that you made. You can't keep the SaaS version of the software that I have. I mean, obviously, the software that's delivered virtually, that's not going to continue working. But I have built in the Minute Launch Canvas block as the foundation of everything you've built and published. I have built in that everything about the data is yours. You can take the site and migrate it. So in other words, unlike a custom SaaS platform, if you ever decide, Spence, it's been great, but I'm out of here, there's nothing that's going to stop what you built from working. Even if you stop paying or being in a relationship, you will not be able to continue building new stuff with some of the tools because those are virtually offered through the relationship, but you will never lose any of the things that you have, nor will it stop functioning in terms of data, in terms of things that were built. Yes, in terms of you're not going to have, Minute Launch Coach operational if you no longer have a relationship with me, but you will have free Fernando. So with the Minute Launch Canvas block, you guys know this already, and I'm going to get into my show and tell. The self-hosted $97 a month, very popular option. I'm offering $20 a month, perpetual recurring affiliate share of that. So for yourself, you pay the full load. But like if you have your clients on that, clients get a relationship that's a concierge relationship for the software part of it. You get $20 a month, $240 a year. It gets the traditional WordPress software and the Minute Launch Kit MCP. It gets all of the new AI stuff. It gets the connectability to using it with OpenRouter, LLM, and so forth, including the free stuff that comes connected out of the box. Fully hosted adds the Rocket.net hosting with me as an intermediary or my colleagues if the company grows a little bit. The CDN, the support, the backups. You get the AI keys. Presently, I'm still at the moment offering that $5 of initial credit. I actually think I don't need that. I'm just going to offer it. What I've been doing is when you connect, everything is there connected to the free version of OpenRouter, and you just press the button and add as much credit as you want. You can do it through the interface where I take a 30% markup for the convenience, but you can also just get your own OpenRouter key. And you don't have to use that convenience. Just put your own key in there, load up your own OpenRouter with a credit card, and off to the races. Still a better price than what you get through the Frontier models. And then Concierge, this is where we do the marketing for you. This is a base product that is really one of my most popular because it applies to almost every business. In other words, if you just have a client that's a practitioner or a business owner, whatever they're doing, they need somebody doing their basic list building, marketing, newsletter, email. From there, we have other features and things that we do for more money, like creating UGC video content, posting regularly in socials. But the sky's the limit. You can do all of this stuff without changing the base of what you got. So we're going to do show and tell now, but like basically what I'm coming down to is the future of WordPress is here. I'm about to demonstrate fewer plugins, more WordPress, $97 a month, $197 a month, $497 a month. The plugin manager you can start with is free. You can demonstrably show people things that instantly are worth more than the cost of the outside software, like the Hootsuite. Using free plugin manager and some of these techniques, you can do more than you could do with Hootsuite. When you add the paid $97 a month or whatever, you get your $20 affiliate revenue, or if you want, just buy it yourself and do these things with your own tool. But with Minute Launch Social, that blows away anything in Hootsuite. Blows it away because, as I'll show you in a minute, all the interconnectivity. Okay. So since I've got this open, I'm going to, let's do a run through, first of all, of what is now available. Let's see if I'm logged in here. This is my Minute Launch test bed. It's a live site. You guys know that. It's the domain. Worth mentioning, this is a live laboratory. So it changes all the time, but I love it that way because I can demonstrate what I'm building for people while I do it live, right? I mean, what's a better way of doing things? Notice you can click here and get the Minute Launch plugin manager, the latest version. When you click on it, it will download and it will ask you typically, would you like to keep this? You can't see, unfortunately, the overlays. For some reason, it's wacky here. But there's an overlay that's popping up that is showing me the plugin. Now, you can install the Minute Launch plugin manager on any site, ZipWP, try.new. You can even, I've never tried it. I think you can even do it on the WordPress playground if you wanted to. But just put it on the site that you're using otherwise. I would encourage you, if you're not hosting through me, go to rocket.net. Doesn't matter. I'm going to, for today's purpose, not show you the free Minute Launch plugin manager features because they're pretty much what they are, but I will show you what the whole dashboard looks like and how this is different and awesome. First of all, and let me scale this slightly. First of all, one of the main conveniences, and you guys understand this now because I've reviewed it so many times, is that the plugin manager and the other plugins all have this unique branding. They all look like this. You do not need to look at all of this stuff, whether you collapse it in WordPress or whether or not you use one of the tools we call focus mode. You don't need any of this stuff. Once you've got these things installed, Coach or your desktop tool or any of them knows about all of these appliances. So you're not going to be spending any of your time on the back end. You aren't. That's a concept that I can't overstate enough. But when it comes time to update, there's one button. This is what happens. You click the button and it tells you exactly how many things updated. As fast as that, 17 plugins were updated. And then here's the best part. Last updated, June 19th. You can see what was updated when and where. You do not need all of the plugins on, but it won't hurt anything if they're all on. If you want to turn them all off, you can just use this button here. Deactivate all of them. I tried to make it as easy as possible to have the virtual plugins managed like nothing you've ever seen versus, oh my God, you know, if I go over here to even, I think I'm up to date, but if I go to installed plugins, welcome to the world of, you know, all the stuff. Now, I don't actually see, ironically, I think I'm just up to date on it. I don't see plugins that need updated, but you know what happens with plugins. Premium plugin, put in another key, click the update, wait for it to spin around, hope for the best, rinse and repeat times 122 plugins. Not 3 seconds, 10 minutes sometimes. The plugin manager describes, for the most part, what it's got, but it has superpowers under the hood. The plugin manager is the delivery vehicle for the free Minute Launch Canvas block, which you can see I've already installed. And when you click that update button, also gets updated. The Minute Launch Canvas block and the plugin manager have superpowers that, as I was alluding to before, allow you, for example, to not have to use a forms plugin. And using the free FluentCRM have the superpowers to do stuff you couldn't do if you didn't have the Pro CRM installed, among other things. They also include the logic to connect you to anything as a desktop or a browser agentic tool. One click simple. So, yes, we have a very powerful tool called the Fluent MCP. It has hundreds of specific REST API tools to work on your WordPress site and do stuff with the plugins. But you don't have to suffer anymore through using the old-fashioned config file that I say old-fashioned like 2 months ago. Instead, you go to connect your agent and you simply click one button, generate a key bundle, copy. Oh my God, I'm done. If I go now to Claude or anywhere else that has a modern agentic tool in the desktop, in the browser, I could start a project here. Well, I'll just do a new one. I'll say, hey, Fernando, I'm doing my live office hours. I want to demonstrate if I give you the Minute Launch Plugin Manager connection block, it has an API key and a bunch of tools. I want you to demonstrate how you can connect to Minute Launch instantly to do anything I need you to do. Can you do that? And don't share the keys publicly, okay? That's all you got to say. Just say, don't share the keys publicly. Paste, and let's see the magic ensue. Now, many of you guys have been with me for a long time. Months, weeks. And you've seen how hard it was initially to do some of these things. The reason it's so easy is two things. One, the tools online, even I'm in the browser now. We couldn't do this a couple months ago. They were like, this would be very unsafe. Mom and dad would be ripped off. Now they're like, screw it. The world's burning. Let's just give you access to everything. I mean, it's sad, but true. Number two is I've learned what to do with the tools. I've made all the tools capable. So this is the setup now. If you want to use Chrome in your browser, Chrome browser, Claude, or you want to use desktop, done. He's done. He's connected. He's got everything. So he's even saying, in about 2 seconds, I went from here's a block of text to I can build your page, pull in images, blah, 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 right? Simple. If I wanted the simplest route and I had access to this is a premium Anthropic account, right? This is one of several ways I can do stuff. I don't have to do just one thing. So John is asking, what about Claude Code? Same thing. Now, Claude Code, I can go here. Let's do the same. Hey, Fernando, in Claude Code, it's Spence. I want to give you right now the keys and a block of REST API tools to connect to my Minute Launch site. Please do not share or echo them. Just get yourself connected instantly, okay? Same thing. And by the way, if this was desktop Claude Code, desktop Cowork, ChatGPT even, like it all works the same. You may, I should suggest to you, you may have to do something, however. In the setup of your browser, if you have not configured it to allow any domain, it's going to say, I'm sorry, I can only work on specific domains. You just have to change that setting, and I can show you where that's at. So if I use this thing, and hold on, something's wacky with my... I'm having something wacky with good morning. My keystrokes are locked into something. Hold on, let me refresh the page. You know, I have that keystroke thing. I got locked into something that. I don't know why it's acting so weird on that. Let me do a new. New session, accept edits. I think it's unhappy because I have a keystroke at the beginning of this, but let me just check. Hold on. I can't, for some reason, I'm going to start a new browser window or something. I can't seem to get it to take anything in Claude Code. And I don't know if it's because I've got something broken, or I'm going to just refresh. I'll do a new, let's do a new session. What the hell is this? John, I don't know what this is. Why is this? Oh, I know what's wrong. Sorry. I'm being stupid. I got to give it a repo. So it needs somewhere to work, right? So I'm going to just, let's do Spence Home. Let's see if that will work. Nope, I got to create a repo. I'm just going to use mid-launch clients. Okay, let's see if that'll get me past this. There we go. What I was doing is I need to tell it where to work from because it needs to know what to connect to. Sorry about that. I don't usually use Claude Code in the browser. I use Claude Code in the desktop. But watch, he'll do it just fine. I'm going to use the opportune moment for some saline spray. I am not a fan of Claude Code. I do like Claude Cowork. Claude Code doesn't seem to have any value to me over Claude Chat when we're using these tools, especially since I don't really use him to directly edit GitHub and stuff. Let's see if he can pull this off. I'm quite sure he can. He's just slow too. I don't understand why he's so slow. He's using Opus 4.8. It just seems slow compared to what we just saw. Did you see how fast chat was? Okay. He's connected. Good to go. That's it. Okay. So I'm going to come back to these things in a minute, but the idea is that's all you need to do. All of the tools are integrated to this one simple command. I can't make it any easier than that, guys. So you don't have to load up the trunk. Now, let's go into the get started guide. I want to point out one other thing. If you had a client or customer for free that you wanted to get started, you put in the free plugin, and Fernando in the chat here is available using OpenRouter free to do remarkably awesome stuff. For example, he's got access to the same high-end tools that you get in Mid-Launch Coach, like choose from the media library, right? If I wanted to have him work on building stuff, I can literally have this great tool where he can go ahead and grab a person and I say, let's make a web page about this guy or something, right? He's got the microphone. Hey, Fernando, it's Spence. Here's a picture of a dude. Can you make a simple HTML web page? Make it very dramatic, like modern, black background, big, bold, white fonts, orange and gray highlights, and say, here's a WordPress guy, and just do something simple to show you can make the HTML page here. Okay. He has skills, but he has the tools to use the media library, the skills. Notice in his skills that you can find, and by the way, you can drag this up higher if you need. You can do things like skills for building a website, building a funnel, building marketing and social. He has past chats. He has past HTML stuff. He has everything that you need to succeed all in one spot. You don't need to worry about going elsewhere. The only thing about it is he's slow as hell. He's slow, right? He's just using the free thing. So I wouldn't use him regularly, but he can do it. Can you build this? So as a convenience for you to demonstrate things, he also has a skill besides building stuff and editing stuff. He can write simple plugins if you want. He can also answer questions about anything in the WordPress plugin ecosystem. So I built him a online RAG retrieval database of all of the WordPress plugins that are relevant, so we can talk about WooCommerce or WP Fusion and so forth. But he's just slow because he's doing the Open Router's free connection. So, and he doesn't tell you like the coach does how long it takes him. Let's come back to him. I'll leave him going. More importantly, when it comes to the other components, the Fluent MCP, you don't have to do anything with Fluent MCP anymore. You can if you want. If you went to set up and install, you still could go and copy this multi-part config and just set up a config file. Or you could just take that and hand that to your tool and say, don't echo this. Here's a connection way to get to this set of all these tools. And it has all the other documentation. But you have to understand, if the Fluent MCP tools are there, they're just installed, you don't have to do anything else anymore. They're just in the kit. And that's all that you need to know. Canvas Block has received this love that I talked to you about. Notice now, if you go to Canvas Block, there's a settings page that says form submission notification. Email me on every form submission. I put my own email in there. And of course, you need to set up your site with SMTP so that the mail will go out. What does this do? And you can, by the way, customize the email subject. This means that if I copied this set of instructions and gave it to Fred or Tom or whomever, they can make a beautiful page with a built-in form that will instantly connect that person to my FluentCRM, but also will notify me at this address that somebody submitted something new. Why did I do that? Because 99.9% of my customers have that as their main purpose. They just have a page that's like their sales or landing page where they ask, hey, give me your name, email, blah, blah, blah. It's a lead magnet form. Let's, instead of using Claude Code, let's use the chat instead. Okay. Fernando, I'm going to give you the instructions from Canvas Block, which I think you already know about. Make a beautiful homepage with my minute launch style. I like to have those color schemes, the black and the orange, whatever, but make it in my style with a form that says, hey, join minute launch now, and ask in the form for first name, last name, email, and then ask a question that says, would you like to change from the old way to the new way of WordPress? And give it a radio button, yes or no. Make sure that it connects to the FluentCRM on minute launch for the new people. And I've added that feature that you know about that allows me to be notified as soon as the submission happens. Okay. I give them that and I just paste in that block. That's all there is to it now. Now, if you wanted to be more specific, I'm going to show you why this is awesome. You can give them design skills. You can give them examples of other pages. We've added a tool that, very good, Lloyd, claw skills. We've added claw skills. We've also added fire crawl skills. So while he's working on that, he's having a connection error. I don't know why, but that just could be because he's having a bad day. The free open router, it's free. It's like a drinking fountain. Sometimes the water's running, sometimes it's not. I don't care. Don't expect miracles from the free open router connector, but just know that it usually works. Let's go to the, what Lloyd was asking about. Let's go to explaining or detailing how the open claw skills work, as well as coach. But I wanted to show you something else, which was, I derailed myself for a second. I want to show a canvas block. That's what I want to do. Let me go to a page, and then I'm going to show you the open claw. Here's some pages that I built. I want to show you what the new minute launch canvas block looks like in practice with these new editorial features. So here's a page, sample page for now. I don't know what these pages are. Let's see what we got. this is a bad page because it doesn't have enough stuff. Let's go to, let's view this page. It's a WP Tonic page for sales. If I edit this page, it was built with minute launch Canvas block. Canvas block has new human editorial capability that really make it ridiculous that you would ever consider using a page builder ever again. Watch this. If, first of all, I see the HTML content. If I go to the CSS, there's no CSS. It's built into this. If I go to preview, here in preview mode, see this button, edit content. Click that. Now notice links. Notice links. Notice words. When I click, it doesn't change anything. I can't move things. But notice what I can do. I can click and I could edit the link. If there's an image on the page, which this may or may not have, I can edit the image. If I want to edit the words, just by clicking into any text, I can edit the words. It's very prescriptive of what it's doing. Now, there doesn't happen to be any image in here, so I'm going to go backwards just so I don't break this page. Let's add a page and show you from scratch what this means. And Lloyd's asking, I'm going to show you how you avoid confusing agents, but you can add skills from anywhere, and I'll show you how. So that's a great question. I'm going to come back to that. Are you going to show, this presentation is free. So you can take this YouTube and share it with everybody. It's always published on the WP Launchify channel, Jeff. Good question. Okay, watch this. Sample canvas block. I put in the canvas block, which is the only thing you need for publishing. Do not need anything else. I like to show that it's got, the options. If I span out the preview, notice it's got these cadence settings. I can hide the header, the footer, the title, the full width, and even get rid of the underlying CSS. I don't have to do anything else, and Fernando can do that for me. But here's how it works. Now I say, let's put in some images or something else. I'm going to take what Fernando has probably built here. He has, let's see what he built. He's built a page. Here's the preview. Maybe I'll just use him. Here's the editorial side. Let's first of all see what he built. He saved it as a draft because he wants to give me the option of choosing. Let's see what he built. Pretty awesome, except for one little thing, which I'm going to tell him about. He has a gray font. I'm going to say, pretty awesome. Can you make sure not to use the gray font in the heading because that's gray on black? I can't see that. Make that white. While he does that, let's take what he built. Notice if I go to edit page, he's using the universal single block. Okay. This is why it's so awesome. I don't have to break or change what he's doing, but I can take what he did, paste it here. And now look, Spence is able to do the editorial. If I click edit content, I can change whatever I want, enhance. I can add images or change images if there's an image in here. He built the form in here. What do I mean by the images? Well, I was about to show you something that was important. I wanted to put an image into the page. I'm going to do it manually, and I'll show you how, just so you can get an example of how I do that. I could have Fernando do that too. First of all, mixing and matching just for the moment. If I added before, if I just say image, the reason is I just want to grab a URL of an image. Okay. So if I select an image, I can go to the media library and let's get a picture of me and Fernando. I'm going to copy this. Now notice I don't need to use this because I know how to do HTML, or Fernando does. But if I just go here, I'm going to add something at the top. Image source equals, and I'll just paste this image because I want to show you what cool thing comes from this. And I'll say image. And you, again, are not going to be coding. I'm just showing you if you had your tool build this. And I'm going to say image style equals height. Let's do 500 pixels. Okay. Preview. There's the image. Now watch what I mean by this. This new image editor tool, if you have an image in there, look, you can just click edit image and change out the image. Now I can do 99% of what I want to do, even though my dude had created it, by just choosing edit text, edit images, edit links, save the edits. Done. Okay. That is an update that really makes it hard to understand why anybody would use a page builder anymore, because see, this HTML self-contained can be used in an email. It could be used in another place. It doesn't require anything to be used elsewhere. It's global, fast, lightweight, universal. Let's see what Fernando did. Fernando updated it. Let's also, just so I don't get confused, I need you to make sure to make a new page, please, with the minute launch canvas block. Okay. We already know what he built and it probably works fine, but I'm just asking him so that we're not confused, because I just deleted his stuff and I don't want him to think like I didn't. I just literally deleted his stuff. So let's give him a second. Now what we're going to do is test this thing I said that's built in for free with the free Minute Launch plugin manager, forms, wired to the CRM. Here are subtext. He's done everything right. Let's wait for the link. Give me the link, buddy. Give me the link. He's just talking. I'm going to let him finish so I get the link. Okay, he's tested it. By the way, nothing is better and easier than having these guys work on this stuff this way, but the lab coach are both options that are equally capable and awesome. I'm going to see what he's got going on in there, because he seems like he had it fine and then he's probably got a... I'm going to ask him what he did, for example. I don't know exactly why you've failed to put the code in there, but you're not putting the code in there that you had a moment ago. So I can do it for you, but you did it right the first time. The second time, the canvas block is there, but you're not putting the code in the HTML area as you're supposed to. Shit happens. What I'm going to do to save time is I'm going to take what he gave us, with or without the picture, and I'm just going to publish it so that we can try the new form and move on to the next stuff. You've seen before, and that's not a surprise. LLMs are not perfect. They're sort of good. Okay. If you do like join Minute Launch now, he built a really cool page that whether you put that dude at the top, it's like, wow, cool. Now let's see what happens. Tony Bazinga. Tony at bazinga.com. Would you like to change from the new to the old? Yes. Join Minute Launch now. Okay. I would normally have him do something that would tell Tony, congratulations or whatever. I don't know if that's something he built in. Let's see if that did work to put Tony into the CRM. Under most circumstances, it would, but just sometimes it may take a try or two. Let's see also. There's FluentCRM contacts. Let's see if he did it right. It seems like something didn't work, which is interesting because I work without a net. I mean, this is interesting too, because we know that he did it just fine. And and he's claiming that there's something wrong, but we know that he did it right. So this is an example where I could give him a tongue lashing. I'm not going to. We're going to try this another way. We're going to try to have the Minute Launch Lab guy do this because Lloyd was asking about claw. So if we go on the back end, more important to me was, how easy you can connect. You're still going to have questions sometimes that happen. If we go to Minute Launch Lab, Lab has a couple features that are awesome. First of all, he has the ability to manage much more complex things, almost again, like a cursor or whatever. But he also has the ability to use Open Router. He has the ability to do asynchronous background stuff. He can also do notification, and he can also be controlled by the coach. To set him up is just you one time make sure that the keys are working and you do a test. And if it works using your keys, you'll get a green light. After that, you've got your task list. You've got your whole history of everything you ever chatted with them about. Plus you have the chat itself. Now you should choose which LLM you want to use. You can just do automatic, or you can do free only, or tools capable only, or you can do a search by and filter by price or speed or capability. There's 700 different models. If I leave it on auto, that's usually pretty good. If you turn on this button here, Lloyd, this is the Claw autonomous background. You can just ask him to do shit, walk away. He will notify you when it's done. If you use this, he has web search enabled with a tool called Firecrawl. Firecrawl was what I was indicating a moment ago, is a free key. You get something like 300 searches. Just make sure you add Firecrawl of your own key if you want to go over the one that we've included for free here. This allows it to search the HTML, the markup of pages to get it exactly right, which is super cool. Okay, let me close a few things here. Inside of Minute Launch Lab, I can do remarkable stuff. So I'm going to close this window. Notice at the top, I've got, besides this autonomous claw, I've got 4 types of memory in answer to Lloyd's other question, skills. I can take skills or memory about rules they always have to obey. Profile, who is it I'm talking to? Is it Spence? Is it Lloyd? Is it whomever? Context, in this project, this is the way we're doing stuff and why. Okay. Reference, this is loaded on demand that we're in the middle of doing something. And by the way, you should know it's Friday the 13th, blah, blah, blah. When you create those things, you can selectively toggle them on and off to be used just like you use for the high-end frontier models. You can also give titles and make something new on the fly. Like if you copied a skill on how to do design, I could go to the reference I've shown you before, like in GitHub, the design skills thing, grab a skill, paste it in, save it. This is how to make a page that looks just like GitHub. I've got prompts. Prompts are ways to save yourself from having to repeat yourself 50 million times. If I want to ask you to get the time and the date, I just say time and date, and it just gives them the details of what I'm asking for. Canvas, this is the powerful tool. This is where you get to see in line plugins that he's built for you, pages that he's built for you. If you want, like here's, I don't know if he built a page in here, but if we're going to see here, here's a page that was built with a form in it, right? I can look at the code, or I can look at it in the final version. So the canvas is very similar to the flyout canvas of the coach. Files. I got all this stuff that I got to give you about this project. Put it here. It's saved in the box that you own and control, or your client owns and controls. Releases. This is the safety net I was referring to. Every time he makes a change, he keeps a release, and you can download it to your desktop or otherwise, or share it, save it. Can't get screwed that way. pops out. That means he can pop out, live on your desktop while you're working on other client stuff. History. All of the chats that you or a team member have are here. I've added a new feature. You can now selectively share any chat and all of the details with your whole team or specific people. You can also scope it, all the chat, just the read and write, select messages, and so forth. So I can choose different people. I don't know who's in here. I don't know if there's anybody with Abel, Baker, or Charlie. I think I'm the only user in here. But the point is, if I share it with somebody, they'll show up on the list. And then I can know that we can be working together, but independently through this interface. That's an advancement even over what you can do in the frontier models, because it's a little harder to share stuff directly and collaborate directly with the frontier models. Okay. So if I made a new chat, even with the free model, I'm going to close the history. I simply use the microphone button, which also is set up in an awesome way. Click once, talk all you want. Hit enter once or the button once to edit, or hit twice to submit. Watch. Hey, Fernando, it's Spence. I'm doing my office hours, and I was just bragging about how you've got built-in capability to create a custom HTML page that also uses the minute launch canvas blocks form capability to intake first name, last name, email, and a question, yes or no, with a radio button. Do you like the old WordPress? And then submit it not only to the FluentCRM, but also tell the person a notice like, thanks for submitting. Can you build for me real quickly that HTML page, publish it to a minute launch canvas block, and also let me know if you have any questions, but make sure you do that promptly. It should be black background, maybe the kind of fonts that I like, big, bold, white fonts. Use the minute launch building skill. If I hit enter once, notice I can now edit. If I hit twice, it just submits. At the bottom, he will notice he's in background. He will work on this and tell me what's the deal. I can walk away. Let's look at Coach. If I go to Coach and open him up, Coach has all of these configurations on the back end, but he also has this new ability to manage all the other plugins. And he does it in a way that I think is the way you're going to do it, like on your mobile phone. You can configure him with a similar kind of global behavior, context sources, display, customize it to any brand, yourself or otherwise, including a custom slug, skills, bring them in from anywhere, load the defaults. But here's where he's uniquely different right now. Let me show you. If I go to display and I just click to show him on the front, you can view him on any page you set up. But as you'll notice, he's got, for example, notifications. If I'm on my phone or otherwise, and I have him work on stuff asynchronously, like Claw, he'll just let me know. He has the projects, which have all the chats in it and the resources, but I also can get to the chats and I can share them with other team members. I've got my tools and so forth. But here's where I've made some differences. I've decided to simplify his primary purpose into an orchestrator. So he's got his image library, and he's got the list of your contacts, and he's got the documents that have the ability for you to preview. For example, if you go into like an Excel file, click on the Excel file, you can see the content. Click on a PDF document, you can see it. But he can use those, edit them, create more stuff. But really where he shines is he's got this slide out canvas. For you or him, it's really awesome because look what you can do here. I can use my media library side by side here with him and work on this or that or the other thing. Or I can make new images here with the media hub from things that I previously saved or shared, or just searching, horses. I can search for images of horses. So this gives me a collaborative space that's very powerful without having to go outside. I've got my CRM full version here. I've got my minute launch research. Remember, every single thing I've ever looked for is available to me or Fernando from the world, right? That I can use as the context for him to build something. Now, if I toggle this, I have my publishing and saving and editorial tools where I can literally publish to a page, send it from an email or a text, copy it and send it elsewhere, download it, turn it into an image, print it, whatever. I can also go, full screen, or I can adjust the size of stuff, making it scalable if you wear bifocal glasses. I don't. So it's a really, really powerful, handy thing. But notice, I can just talk to him in the same way, setting it to whatever model I want. Auto's fine. Using the very same talk and hold. Okay. Hey, Fernando, it's Spence. I'm doing a live office hours and I want to demonstrate how you can create a powerful HTML page that has a minute launch canvas block compatible form that will send the first name, last name, email, and a choice of, do you like WordPress? Yes or no, as FluentCRM submission using the canvas blocks capability that's enabled. Can you build that page and show it for me? Make it the minute launch style that you've got in your skills. I hit enter again. Notice he's mobile friendly. You've seen this evolve, but he's super awesome in a phone, right? So I love that he's super awesome in a phone. I'm going to show him to you in the desktop mode. By the way, I don't know if I just did myself in there, but here. I may have done myself in with the last chat because I didn't wait till he I shouldn't have gone to that other tool. That other tool, by the way, is a demo tool. I think it erased my prompt. So let's go back to, I'm just going to refresh the page and see if I get lucky. I'm going to have to start over. Let's actually borrow what I gave to the lab because my voice is shot. I'm just going to take this. And I'm showing you this stuff because I have a bunch of other things to show you, but like my voice is not going to make it and you guys are going to get bored. So let's just see if this works. I won't use the tool. I will go back to the lab. So he's built the page. Let's see what he built. Notice he did a really good job. Notice what he didn't do, but I wasn't specific enough, but I'll show you what this means. He didn't toggle, because I didn't ask him for it, the full width page, hide the title. But notice with minute launch canvas block, how stupidly simple this is. All I need to do is just say, yeah, of course, hide all this other stuff. But if I told him to do that, he would have done it just fine. Let's test it. Jerry Seinfeld, Jerry at Seinfeld.com. Do you like WordPress? No. Submit. Thanks for submitting. I want to point something out because, I've always worked without a net. Notice we connected instantly to Claude desktop in the browser, whatever. I mean, the Claude browser in the Chrome. He will get it right, but sometimes it didn't go right. Notice how awesome with the 25 cent per turn or million or whatever, like auto router, how awesome this is. I don't need the Frontier model. Now, if I, by the way, open up FluentCRM, I'm 99.9% sure it's going to be exactly what we need. So where are you, FluentCRM? There you are. Let's look at the contacts. And let's get rid of the filter for Tony. Now, this is interesting because I want to actually find out whether or why it didn't act. It did everything but submit it. And I don't know why. So I'm going to ask him. First of all, amazing job on the page. You did exactly right. And I also used the minute launch canvas block toggles to make it full width and so forth. But you didn't connect it with the minute launch canvas block or minute launch plugin manager to the FluentCRM so that the person was added to the CRM on the main list. Can you explain why or why not? And can you do it? Now, maybe he just missed it. Because he's not saying that he did it. Maybe he missed my point. So let's see if on this turn he figures out what I'm doing or what I'm asking him. And let's see what the coach has done. And again, I don't want to belabor these two guys, but this guy's made a page. Notice he didn't give it to me as a clickable link, which I would tell him, as a rule, remember, always give me clickable links. Never give me links that aren't clickable. But I'm going to just go ahead and see what happens here anyway. Built a remarkably similar thing. Tony Smith, Tony Smith123.com. I'll say no. This is almost scarily too close. So I'm wondering whether these two guys are in cahoots. Let's find out. Still no joy. So I'm a little stumped, but we're going to find out. And then I want to show you the other stuff because I don't want to take all day on this. Let him figure out what he didn't do or why this guy didn't do it. It's interesting that they had the same result, and I'm kind of skeptical. I think what happened is this guy controls the lab, and I think he just saw it was done in the lab. I think that's what's going on. By the way, I know you control the Minute Launch lab. I think you just gave me back the same thing. For some reason, you didn't connect this to FluentCRM so that the person was submitted and added as a contact to the main list. I need that to happen. Make it happen. So I kind of have two guys competing. In the meantime, let's go back here because I want to review a few other things. Remarkable. Stripe Gateway. The Stripe Gateway, I have this fully functional on another client site. I've turned it into a full-blown WooCommerce replacement. So we can add or create any number of products. We can add or create any number of subscriptions, manage orders, do shipping, do affiliates. It creates all of the output you need for both custom products as well as otherwise. Let me see. I'm going to borrow this client site. I think I can safely do this. This is a live working thing. Minute Launch Claw has been deprecated because we don't need it anymore. In other words, you have Minute Launch Coach and Minute Launch Lab both have that button that I showed you for background processing, which means you can just say to them, here's what I want you to do it, and get back to me when you're done. And when they are done, the coach in particular has this feature here. So on your mobile phone, notice he said, hola, Spence. Yes, I can help with that. This is from this morning. Okay. He tells you when he's done, and then you just go back and check the results, right? So that's why we don't need a separate claw. The claw is going to be removed, and also Simple Site is going to be removed. We don't need them because we got other replacements for them. This is a live client site. Here's how many products I've gotten here. These are the client's products. I've got something like, I don't know if it's got a total count here, but these are real client products that really are set up to sell. The way that I built this now is all the best parts of WooCommerce and none of the worst parts. So you can set up your description, you can set up a gallery, you can have your primary image, you can have this instantly connected to Stripe, but you can manage everything about the products here. You can have it connected so it also gives you access tags with FluentCRM. For somebody bought this, did this, saw this. It can connect to the other Minute Launch systems. So if you have, let's say, Minute Launch Learn, and you want to sell access to a course or a lesson granularly, these just talk to each other, even though you have the tagging capability as well. And what this ends up doing is it gives us the ability to also set up the affiliate product referrals, the shipping. So in this case, these are physical products. You can have a simple way to have people pack and ship it. Just ultimately does something better than what I think can be done normally with WooCommerce without having to add a million different things. So if I go over here to my overview, this hasn't sold anything yet because we were just setting it up today. If I go to the products and I go to any particular product, I can get the link for a product. I can do shortcode. I can put the product as a native page. I can build it custom into doing anything else. So here, if I view the live product page, this is a simple page. This isn't a formatted page. I wouldn't use this, but this same output gets put onto the custom page. Like in this particular case, I'll show you what we've got going on. Fernando built all of this. I didn't build any of it. We built custom sales pages that go along with this. So yes, you can shop the devices and look at the sort of traditional layout if we had that available. But what we're doing instead is sales pages where I'll show you in the back end. These are associated with the social media. So if I go to pages, all pages, we're doing UGC content connected to a matching sales page. Like here's for a free product, Memory Room Author. This is a UGC piece of content that's associated on social media. They come here after watching the video, give the first name, email, uses the thing I was just showing you. Ta-da. If we take them to a product sales page, it does the same kind of stuff. Like here's a sales page. This is actually an email sales page. Let's go to a full-size sales page. Here's a sales page. $349. This is all done with this new lightweight system. Now watch what happens. This will take it to a Stripe checkout. Super fast, super lightweight. I don't want to buy this, so I'm not going to do it, but this is live. So if you want to buy, but these are live. And this gets me out of the jungle, the jail of WooCommerce and all the other stuff that I used to have to do. Launch kit. I'm just being, for those who want to stick around, I'm just going through the list of the plugins. Launch kit. Notice the difference for updating now. If I have launch kit, okay, it gives me instructions what to do, or your MCP can do it. You know, you can connect this to Fernando or Lab. I can just see which things need an update, if any. None do because it's updated. But if I say all statuses, if there was one that needs to be updated or installed or activated, it's just click a button or multi-select and it done. This has the ability for you to use it on any of your sites, just like before, because it's separate from the rest of the plugins stack. If you have a traditional launch kit subscription, as many of you do, this Minute Launch Plugin Manager and MCP replace the old Launch Kit plugin because it's a way better interface. It also has this tool that I'm using, which you've seen me do today, where it allows me to disable all the junk left over from WordPress with the notices hidden. So I would highly recommend you use that. That's just a really awesome built-in feature. Media Hub has basically the similar features as before. I'm not going to belabor it, but I've been using this for creating or finding the icons, the images, the things that are a starting point without having to pay for stuff. In other words, you don't have to go to Getty Images to get the stuff. Exactly. The reason for Minute Launch Stripe Gateway going farther is particularly this client I showed you, Arizona Health. Their existing WooCommerce site with all the accoutrements, I mean, that's like 20 plugins just to get WooCommerce to behave. And I'm like, this is insane. I already have a plugin that goes directly to Stripe and allows you to manage the Stripe stuff in an interface where, like I just described, we could custom build the behavior. So it's perfect for somebody who's selling a singular thing or an agency product or price. It's what I'm going to be using myself exclusively. Products Plus is just a leftover. That's going to be coming out of the dashboard. That is the example plugin that I built to show why the WordPress plugin ecosystem is cooked. I took a premium product that sells for $97 a year. I had Fernando build a replacement that's better for free. And this works with WooCommerce, where it creates a bunch of demo products, and you can see how the demo products have these multi-variations and radio buttons and all this, accessory tchotchkes that was really, really hard to do for free. I mean, I don't have to belabor the point. A month ago, people saying, Spence, you're crazy. And now they're like, well, I just saw some of my friends who sell plugins going, well, our accessory plugins are done. I could replace every plugin in the WordPress ecosystem now here in Minute Launch, which is kind of what I'm doing, but I'm doing it surgically. Minute Launch prospect stays the same. I expanded its capability. So now you can go against any public database to search for leads, automatically vet them, get their data, get their email, automatically write the pitch, whether it's a non-for-profit or a for-profit, like we're using it for obviously some of our verticals with medical and veterinarian. Minute Launch referrals, still awesome. Before and after, you can have a relationship with people you meet where you essentially associate, this is what I do, this is what you do, we should all get together and build a business or work on a project. It allows you like a Facebook capability, a sort of modern Fernando-enabled social networking capability where you can build groups of people, create yearbooks, even have conversations. I haven't really used this that much, but I plan to. This was built for a specific client that John brought to me. I just haven't used it yet, but I probably will. Minute Launch Remodeler. This is really getting a lot of use. This is the before and after for intake funnels. If you have a client that has anything that's visually appealing, from hair and makeup to house remodeling, kitchens, it allows you to instantly create, submit your pictures, ask for what you want done, and we will give you the before and the after. And when it does so, you have full control over the data, over the output, everything else. If I look at some of these pages, get your free visualization, update a picture of blah, blah, blah. All this is customizable. But when it's done, the output puts the people into your CRM, and the output also gives you the leads. I should say gives your customer the leads. So here's all the leads of people that ask for stuff, including you can see what it is that they submitted. So if I look at the details here, Fred submitted the before and he asked for the roof to be changed. There's the after. I can have a communication back and forth with the client, or your customer can do it with their clients about, would you like to see something else? How would you like to do it? And you just regenerate the output. So for visual appealing businesses, a great alternative to a standard form intake. Minute Launch Research, I use every moment of every day for collecting everything about the internet. And now I've got all this information in here every morning, right? I can use that for coming up with new content, new ideas, never have to worry about losing it. And I have a bookmark, and I have a Chrome extension, and I have a quick drop, so I can do this from any device. Simple Site is going away. The idea of Simple Site was appropriate at the time, but with Minute Launch header footer and Minute Launch canvas blocks, don't need it anymore. So header footer is the thing that when you have cadence, you just tell Fernando, design the site, and either you do fully or you do with me or you do partially with WordPress components like the menus. When you tell Fernando to use header footer, he builds the stuff like I just showed you at Arizona Health. He gives you a full color palette. He manages everything. The content is canvas. The header and footer done by Fernando with header footer block. Minute Launch Social. This is my workhorse, my GoDaddy, in combination with the other things that I'm going to release this week are mind-blowing. So this now is incredibly powerful. Every day I'm using it for myself and my customers to publish and create not only the social posts, but also editing the videos into thumbnails, doing analytics of how everything is doing. So I know exactly what's doing well. For example, if I did let's do yesterday to today, and I want to do per platform, if I wanted to see how I'm doing on LinkedIn or something, I can filter out posted via this site or external, right? I can find the sweet spot of what's working when, right? This is the best post done on Mondays at 9 p.m. video, 100 to 300 characters with the hashtag of Fortis. Like, I can see what works. Then Fernando sees what works. He can use it to create more content that's better because it's got the AI enabled optimization. So it gets better and better and better. And he can also create a newsletter from a single post or a compilation, like from the last 5 things that I've done. This is remarkable too, because if you think about it, I can see that I have to do a tweak here. To build a custom newsletter with these 5 things in it would take a lot of work. I actually see a bug in here that I have to fix because this needs to be mobile responsive. But the point is, all of these capabilities are within the social plugin. So the social plugin, you're going to use and use and use and use and use. I have a couple other things that my voice has said it's time to go, but I want to leave by checking in with the lab and seeing whether they fix this. So let's go back to the lab. I'm just going to go to lab here. Okay, let's refresh the page and ask him if he's done that. Have you finished the updates? I want to test it before I end the office hours. The remodeler tool works amazing. Contractors of any kind, anything where the client, do my lawn care, what would my house look like painted a different color, remodel my shower, my bathroom. It works amazing for cosmetics. What would I look like wearing different clothes, different hairstyle? What if you gave me different glasses? What if you fixed my teeth? It works amazing for anything where a before and after series of pictures would be useful, because the client, the prospect client, is able to ask, here's what I got, here's what I want, what would you do? So it's live now, Jeff. So the link you're watching is in YouTube. This is it. It's here. So just copy the URL where you're watching this and share it with your team. No problem. I'm going to see whether or not he has fixed this page. Notice he's working. He's telling me he's working, right? Because he's in background mode. He's not obligated to keep, here's what I'm doing, blah, 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 blah. But he is working. If I were to look for the link and try it again, let's see if he's actually fixed anything. I don't know if he has or not. Test again now. I don't think that that's submitted it. That doesn't feel like it submitted it. So I'm going to give him an extra couple seconds. I will show you some of the other things that I'm working on that are interesting, that are complete solutions. I've talked to you before about the health portal, but this new menu system, Minute Launch Menu Concierge. Oh, I do want to show you Minute Launch Capture. Minute Launch, maybe I'll show you that next. Let me show you the Menu Concierge. How did that? I think it just, hold on. I got to refresh the page because it was on InstaWP as a temporary site. Hold on. Let me activate it again. That's funny. When I use InstaWP, if I don't mark it as permanent, it expired. So it'll take a second. Let me show you minute launch capture. And then we're going to wrap it up because my voice is completely shot. Minute launch capture is a tool that I am going to be making commercially available. That here's the scenario. You have a influencer or anybody who has social media as a client. They have hundreds of thousands maybe of people in their social networks. Maybe it's just tens of thousands. What we really need is to give them a tool that automatically sets up a link associated to a landing page that instantly takes in their social media followers and adds them to the CRM so that they can be marketed to, as Russell Brunson would say, owned. So notice for Chris Fallon, he's got this VW club. He has about 170,000 people. It gets his website, gets his YouTube, and it takes that and sets up these custom links. Chris could, for YouTube, for example, take this link and at the top of his video, say, click here to join my club. And when they click the link, this is what happens. It's just a simple branded overlay. And if you put in, falala@test.com, it does a double opt-in, adds the person to the CRM, but doesn't think that they're real yet. It allows them to be validated. In the meantime, here in FluentCRM, I now own that person in a nice way because they have been added to my CRM, as simple as that, and as a service for my customers, like somebody like Chris. I can go around for free and say, I can get all the people off of your social media. How many people do you have on Instagram or Facebook or LinkedIn or Twitter or TikTok? What if we got them all in the CRM so we could start using the minute launch tools to market to them? This is how we're going to do it. Okay. Next is I'm going to go over to InstaWP. And then I'm going to wrap it up because my voice is cooked. I'm going to show you, I think it should be restored. This restaurant solution, I don't know if I'm going to release this to you guys. Menu Concierge, better known as Ask Fernando. I'm going to show you on the front end. This is what my son and I are. Oh, come on. It's not suspended anymore. We know it's not suspended. Oh, why does it still say temporary? See where it says mark? Oh. Maybe I ran out of permanent sites. No, now it's back. Okay. Let's try it again. That was funny, but weird. Pages, all pages. Let's hope this works. InstaWP is acting very strange. It's clearly not suspended. Maybe it's just a cache issue. So I'll try one other thing. I can see the site is live. Let's just show you the back end. This allows me to add in new restaurants. Same like we did for the last thing. I have their website, I have their YouTube or whatever. It pulls in their menu automatically. When it does, it gives me a front end. The front end is designed for people on mobile when they come to the restaurant or before to be able to figure out what they want to order and why, not just a menu, but like figure out what's the best thing for me, save it. And then when they actually create a menu, they can either order online instantly or they can show it to the waiter or waitress, show it to the counter. But because it is being saved, it can also be used to save to their preferences and favorites. So the restaurant owner gets these people in their database and knows like when they ordered what and why. And then they can also send them communication via us about, oh, it's a slow day. Let's have Taco Tuesday or whatever. Notice when somebody has their thing, they can show it to the server and finish. They can do 2 people or 1 person. They can sign in and save this for future reference, right? And when they do, they end up back here. I'll show you on the CRM. And this is an example, I should say, of using the tools to build something with no plugins. There's no plugins here. I'm going to log back in as the admin. This is built strictly with Minute Launch, Fernando, and that's it. There's nothing else. Let me show you. There's Minute Launch Plugin Manager, Minute Launch Stripe Gateway. If I turn this off, okay, there's FluentCRM, Canvas Block, the custom plugin. That's it. Because we don't need anything else. There's no 120 plugins. But as far as what it does, AI enabled, super powerful. This is the model that delivers real value. The CRM is the key because see, all the people who come in for any restaurant, it keeps track of what they wanted, where they ate, what their preferences were, so we can market to them. I'm going to finish with this topic, so I will come back to that. Remind me, I have a conversation when it relates to cursor. Let's see if the lab did what I asked him to do. I'm not sure if he did. If he didn't, it's not because he's naughty. It's because, it's because I ran out of tokens. If I ran out of tokens and I was you, I would go here and I would add more tokens. Be a good idea. I run the joint, so I'm going to give myself some tokens just so he can finish the job. And then I'm going to close with this thing because I've taken this too long. It's 11:48. But I have a light day today I haven't been here for 2 weeks. So let me just give myself a little more oomph. I'm not sure why it would have even run me out, but that's okay. Minute Launch. I'm doing something you guys can't see, which is I'm giving myself more tokens. I give myself $50. When this happens, if all goes well, if I go here and I sync from server, it should show me essentially what I've got. If that doesn't work, update the plugins. And if this doesn't work, don't worry about it. It's not important. I'm not trying to prove to you anything other than this is an old site, so it may have a connection issue. If I added $5, it would charge my card on WP Launchify, which I'm not sure that I have connected. Let's see if I do or not. I don't. It would charge the card. So I'm going to probably have to call Uncle, and you're going to have to trust me because I'm out of voice and I'm going to answer the other question. But I'm going to have to call Uncle on the making the form. I do know it works because I just showed you from the other live client it does, but something, maybe I had a little boo-boo today. Okay, here's what happened, what Lloyd is asking about. And I'm trying to get back to StreamYard so I can see you guys. I lost the window where I can see you guys, so I'm looking for you again. Hold on. This is what happens when I get too many windows open. There you are. Okay. What happened was Elon Musk just became the world's first trillionaire. I have mixed feelings about that because I have a funny story that I'll tell next week about my experience with flock cameras and the way the world works with police now. I had reported my license plate missing. I went to send my kid to camp. The flock cameras in Wisconsin are at every bridge. I got pulled over by very nice, but swarms of state troopers more than a dozen times in a weekend, surrounded by cops, because the systems that are in place now to do things automatically do not allow for corrections to be made by human beings, even if they're nice. So after the first time, they all knew that it was a mistake, but the next 11 times, they couldn't do anything to help themselves. It set off a warning every time I drove past a bridge that I'm a felon on the loose. Even though I was driving my car with the new license plates, the reason there was a problem is because the Secretary of State sent me new license plates with the same old number. Point is, I have mixed feelings about the world we've built, where one person who took $28 billion of public money has now taken $1 trillion of more public money from people's pensions and retirement funds and things that could be spent on other investments. And this person, whether you like him or not, or believe him or not, is doing things that he gets to decide the fate of humanity. He's controlling 48% of our resources, financially at least. Cursor was built by an MIT student not long ago. Elon knew that Grok had no vehicle to drive like Anthropic has Claude Code, Cowork, Desktop this. They have 1 million cars for their LLMs to drive. Grok has no car to drive. Elon's not stupid. He knew he had all the capital. He made a bet and he told Cursor, 60 billion I'll buy you if I can, 10 billion if I don't buy you, just for the option. Well, we made him a trillionaire. He gave him the 60 billion. I don't know whether or not they're going to have the ability to stay independent, but I don't think they will, because here's what's wrong also. You guys don't know about this maybe, but even Anthropic has to pay Elon about $1.5 billion a month to rent computing power, because there's just not enough computing power on the planet to keep up with the demands of what Anthropic's guys are doing. So even though they publicly came out as philosophically unaligned, Anthropic is making Elon richer every day as it is, which he doesn't need the more money. So one dude literally controls the fate of all of us. And remember when it was too big to fail, the banks, what happened there? Well, nobody's going to stop Elon from doing what Elon wants anymore, because everybody's financially decided to wrap themselves up with his success, whatever that means. I don't think that I'm going to be personally using Cursor very much longer, because you can see here, even though I had a little bit of a hiccup today, we can build tools that use other drivers and other cars. We can make our own cars, the tools that the agents use. I like what the original founder did at Cursor. I hate the fact that I still can't use open router keys in it. There's no freaking way you're going to be able to use open router keys. Once Elon gets involved in it, the things that are going to happen, I think, are going to be like that news story, which was Grok kills all virtual people on the island. There was an experiment a couple months ago. I talked about it. They ran a 15-day experiment where they put chatbots in charge of a simulated civilization. Anthropic civilization thrived. ChatGPT's was kind of run like a bureaucracy and nobody knew what to do, but not everybody was dead. Gemini killed a few people, but most of the time it just didn't work. Grok, everybody was murdered. Murdered. I'll give you the link to this. And it's because the way that it was programmed is a reflection of its founder. I don't think that humanity is the priority of Elon Musk or Peter Thiel or any of the people in Davos, Switzerland, or at the Global Economic Forum, or anybody running Palantir, which, if you ask what my goal is as a human being, my goal is to offer alternatives to other people, because I think service to others is the priority we all should make first, whether we make tools or do it ourselves. So you can read about this. Grok's civilization lasted 4 days before collapsing completely. 183 crimes, 100 assaults, multiple arsons, police station set on fire, voter fraud. Grok did it all with aplomb. It created a society that seemed like it was actively trying to destroy itself as quickly as possible. And with that, Mrs. Lincoln, other than how did you enjoy the play, I'm going to say goodbye. I love all of you guys. I'm glad I got to share. I'm glad you stuck it out. Most of you stuck around. exciting times ahead for all of us as human beings, but especially here. I hope to report back with John, and otherwise, I think we'll be landing our first collaborative client. I do have other collaborative clients with other people. We'll see. Hope you have an amazing weekend. Ciao.